I have changed so much because I don't trust, because it could be anybody.
That's Diane McMinn. More than 2 decades ago, her husband was murdered after he left for work. She still feels the grief of losing the love of her life and the pain of not knowing who did it and why. Our Katie Jeffries continues her Unsolved series tonight, taking a closer look at the murder of Cecil Pat McMinn.
Diane McMinn remembers the day her life changed forever. It was October of 1995, Friday the 13th. She said goodbye to her husband, Pat McMinn, the night before as he left to work the midnight shift at the post office on Kings Road, not knowing the next people to visit her home would be homicide detectives. What happened on that October night? That question has plagued Diane McMinn for the last 25 years. The original police report only gives basic details about how her husband was found. It was early in the morning of October 13, 1995, when a worker at the Ramona Flea Market spotted Pat's red Ford truck at the end of the road. Door open, Pat inside, shot twice.
Reviewing the file, going through it, his wallet was never found.
Detective Glenn Warkington with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office Cold Case Unit is going back over the case. He says officers suspected robbery could be a motive. Diane had told officers Pat was carrying cash on him from a loan. But other valuable items in the truck, like Pat's watch, had been left, so detectives weren't sure. The location itself presents a challenge. It was an isolated area with the woods on one end and a flea market on the other, which would have been empty overnight. No one around to hear the gunshots that took Pat's life.
Reading through the reports and stuff, it really couldn't be explained, what his reason for being back there.
Diane believes he may have stopped for gas and cigarettes at a gas station, where someone could have seen the money in his wallet.
He would usually stop for gas and then go to work, and that's what we think he did, but nobody knows yet.
With no witnesses and no definitive motive, it didn't leave much for detectives to go on. And for Diane, she was not sure how to break the news to their 2 children, just 7 and 4 at the time.
I mean, when your own heart's broken, that's one thing. When your children, that's a whole level, another level.
She describes Pat as the love of her life, and the years without him have ticked by painfully.
People don't get it. It's hard to explain that to a new friend or a new significant other or whatever the case may be, because unless they've been through it, they don't understand.
Pat's son Jason even became a corrections officer himself, a piece of him hoping that maybe he will cross paths with the person that killed his father.
Maybe I'll walk past an inmate one day, he'll see my face, inadvertently see my dad's face, and just kind of have flashbacks and spill his beans. I don't know. I think about that a lot.
While Jason is hoping for a confession, detectives are re-examining the evidence to see what can be submitted for DNA testing and testing for latent prints. Genetic genealogy and latent print technology have been game changers in cold cases, and detectives are hoping it could garner some new leads in this case too.
We look at that also now to resubmit.
For Diane, she says she'll never have closure. Her husband never got to see his children grow up and never got to meet his grandchildren. And she wants to know who took his life on that October night.
I want to know. People tell me, no, you don't. Maybe you don't. Well, yeah, I do. They think I don't because the answer might hurt worse than the actual, murder. No, it won't. I don't have peace.
Cold case detectives haven't given up. The answers are out there. Someone knows who killed Pat McMinn.
We hope that, through these cold case spotlights that we can generate, people looking at it and say, I remember something about that, maybe I should call. And it has helped us in the past.
If you know anything about the murder of Cecil Pat McMinn, contact the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office or Crime Stoppers. Katie Jeffries, First Coast News, on your side.
And for a look at more local unsolved cases, you can find a link to the Project Cold Case database inside this story on the First Coast News app.